Self-hosting isn't that difficult, and I'm going to show you how to install a file management and note-taking system that you can host yourself without any cloud dependencies in like 3 minutes. This video is not going to cover how I built Heaper or why I built Heaper. I have separate videos on that, and also not how to use Heaper. It's just how to set it up. But to be fair, let's start really simple. We'll basically just do nvim docker compose YAML. Then we'll paste our nice Docker compose that we already have predefined on our website. In the documentation, you can grab this file and you're ready to go. The main thing that it does here, it gets the latest Heaper image, then sets a container name for it, and it restarts unless you stop it manually. Then we map just the port 80 to something you can choose freely. You can also get the Postgres database port exposed because this image comes pre-bundled with the Postgres database, so you don't have to set up something yourself. You can use a separate Postgres image if you like, but I know a lot of people will really appreciate this. The host name, Postgres user, and so on are all the database connection things that we need, and the internal Postgres database is enabled. Other than this, there's just 2 volumes that we need. These are for your Postgres data, so they stay attached to a separate volume, so when recreating, you're not wiping your database. And you have the config folder, thumbnails, storage, and backups for Heaper. Storage is the only thing that needs to be in bulk storage. You'll apply changes to this on the left side of the colon here. And the only other thing is that thumbnails are nice to store on an SSD because they don't take up so much storage, but they're really fast to sync this way. It isn't a big problem if you have them on an HDD because most of the syncing happens in the background through caching, and you have all these getting pulled automatically, and it's a one-time setup basically. Then we can simply start this file by running docker compose up. With the -d command, this would actually start this in the background, which is what you usually would like, but we want to see this log right here, just for the initial setup. This basically tells us that we have the self-hosted mode enabled, that log levels are set to low so we can actually read something. The database and public key are connected, and we're ready to listen, and the entire startup time was like 260 milliseconds. Nice. We'll also set this up with Tailscale, because right now this is only reachable in my local network, but if we use Tailscale for something like the DNS setup here, we can actually reach this in the entire Tailnet for every device where you have Tailscale enabled. This allows you even to set HTTPS on there, so you have encrypted traffic through all of your devices wherever you are. And what I'll do for this is actually, I'm gonna start setting this up on my phone. We can skip the entire onboarding. If you like, feel free to check this out. I put a lot of care into it. And then we are straight up diving into the self-hosted part. You can set it up with the cloud where you just need an email to log in and nothing else to set up, or you can try it locally without any server sync. You can add sync to it at any time later on. There is no need for any, oh, I need to choose now. You can just try it locally and then upload it to a connected server whenever you want. You run through the entire flow again then. Now we can define a new key. We want to basically generate a random string from this, and this randomness will generate a key pair for us. This is the cryptography stuff from the crypto part, not the blockchain stuff. Instead of logging into an account that some cloud provider owns, you have the key to prove that you are this public key. And once you have saved this, you can link this public key to your account online on Heaper, which can save your server settings on setting it up on a new device. Let's skip this for now, so you see that this actually works without any cloud stuff required. You can register this key with the cloud in case you change your mind. And in here, we will just do 10.0.0.159 310. That's the address that we recently set in the Docker file. It's not what the container shows, that's inside of the container. Then we get this instance with its own public key listed here. And once we press continue, we can simply set up a new heap on here. Notably, if you do this the first time, you are now the admin of this server. Any new user will need to request to be able to join your server. So there's no one simply joining your instance on accident. Everyone needs to be approved. And this is everything you need on here. The next step we can do is we can select some media. As an example, we'll just take a few selfies from me that I actually prepared, so I have something for this video. Now it generated all the thumbnails, we can import them, and we can have all of these already synced to the server. You already see the logs on the server showing up that things got uploaded, and to show you that things are actually working fine, we can now go into new tab, go into the same self-hosting directory, list it, check out the Heaper data, and inside of this we have the storage that we mounted here. So in there we can go into cd storage, then we find a folder. The first ID here is your user ID. And to know what this actually means is Heaper is multi-user capable, so each user gets its own directory here. And if you go into this thing, you can see on your heap that you have mount paths and IDs where all of these are explained, and you can copy the heap ID in here, but we don't really need that because we already uploaded something. So we can just go into this and we see all the image files that actually are on our server now. You also see there's a button to scan for new files. These will get imported if you place them into this folder. And we can now do one very fancy thing. We will take this last part of the storage string, close the container first. It's always best to let it keep shutting down properly. With those IDs in here now, we can do the following. We paste this whole line where we have our storage MNT thing, and we can use this part to map to this heap directly. What I recommend though is set a subfolder for this and say external. And now you could mount storage external here into this folder, and your completely separate folder will now be placed inside that heap. This is how you mount folders into Heaper without any other doing here. Let's do compose up. And we should be able to see that there's now this external folder, and we can also place files in there that on scan will then show up on your phone. Actually, why not? Like a thumbnail for a video or something like that. We press this button and let's check our logs if things are happening. We press scan for new devices. It scanned it, it created thumbnails for it. And on our phone, if we go back to our heap, it actually goes so far that your folder structure is intact. So this external folder now has the picture inside of it. And it's tagged properly, just the way we use tags in Heaper as well. With Tailscale, I can select this machine and have it actually serve as the host for Heaper by default, which is done the following way. Thing we actually do is we just do the 3010 in here and do available within your telnet. Now this address in here will actually just work. You need to enable the HTTPS for that. That's a separate step, but that's basically how simple this now works, because in the end we will now be able to use this as the part that we actually set in our servers. We can go to servers, edit, and now we should be able to save it, and everything got updated. The server should actually update properly. So if we sync now, everything's done, and we are able, check this, the new address is here. We now have HTTPS encrypted traffic, and the best part, we can do this from wherever we are, even if it's running on my MacBook. And of course, the same works for servers and everything. If you have any issues, I'll update the guides to follow as many of these points in detail as possible, but I need to keep it a bit realistic. I can't cover every NAS manufacturer and stuff like this. Just keep that in mind. That's kind of all you need to know to get started. Everything else is covered by the hands-on video, and I hope you enjoy the app. I've spent way too many years on this, by the way. Thanks for watching and happy organizing.